Yes, you read that correctly. Combat Waffle Studios and the game Ghost of War aren't really in the best spot right now. If you guys haven't heard, the VR extraction shooter game Tabor is wiping on the 18th of December, and with it is coming a large amount of additions and DLCs. I'd like to put a little bit of emphasis on the word DLCs there because it's not the greatest situation in the world. If you've been checking the Ghost of War comment section recently, you may notice a pattern. Things like, we're having to buy 40 DLCs with this one, and exfill zone looks better, and yo, oh, hi. You see, Tabor has recently been doing the Christmas advent calendar, leaking a feature of the wipe every day, which is a sick idea by the way, but holy, it was poorly executed. Specifically day 1, 3, and 13. Day 1 was when it started. On this day, they announced the Name Reservation DLC. Yep, a paid DLC to reserve names between wipes, which is such a basic function that we should have been given when the game started, really. Ended up being a paid DLC. Now, to say they got flamed for this would be an understatement, and people commenting about how out of touch Combat Waffle Studios is with their community. Well, they tried to prove them wrong by announcing that it would be, in fact, free, and apologized for their mistake. Wait, so why is people still mad? Well, on day 3, they announced the Weapon Skins DLC, a cosmetic DLC that you use on your guns, which should be fine, right? Well, the people on YouTube didn't seem to like this one either, making jokes like, is there a wipe come with these DLCs? In my personal opinion, I don't think this one was bad. After all, it was pretty much cosmetic, but, the Tabor community is a little weird. But what really made it bad was that, so far, 2 out of 3 of the announced updates were DLCs. Now, the next 9 days they announced some actual features, but the community was still mad. You see, with the latest competitor Contractor Showdown coming out with the exfill zone mode around this time, many people had started making videos like Tabor Killer and why exfill zone contractors are better than Tabor. Of course, since this end wipe and there wasn't much content to make, everyone was hopping on this trend, and the videos were everywhere. Because of this, around this time, Tabor players in the community had started trying the game, and many were loving it. And I agree, they came out the gate with things like a better healing system and mag packing, which are marginally better than Tabor's. The people who made Contractors have been making the game for 6 years, and are much larger than Combat Waffle Studios, so obviously it's not going to be a bad game, but damn, people were glazing the hell out of the game in the Ghost of Tabor comment sections. And with the DLC situation, it's got people talking about how this might be the end of Tabor, more on this later. Now, if this wasn't bad enough, on the 10th day they announced a paid PvE mode. PvE being paid is totally justified, but apparently the community just can't understand that. PvE is going to need dedicated servers, and those don't really grow on trees unless those trees are made out of motherboards, CPUs, and RAM. But anyways, the comment section was bombarded with the same copy-paste comments that I've mentioned before. They actually created a poll that asked if players prefer free solo PvE but paid co-op, and the majority said yes. It's unconfirmed whether they'll do this, but with the situation they're in, they probably should. But yeah, it wasn't really looking that good. A few days later, and Wife is announced, and the trailer is released. Oh, and look, the comment sections are full of the same shit. People talking about 400 DLCs and how Tabor's gonna die to Exfil Zone. The funniest part is how little information most people actually know. The Tabor Discord is probably the main area where the stuff gets announced, and after gathering all this information, here's what's actually coming, and how Combat Waffle Studios knows what they're doing and they aren't just money-hungry developers. There ended up being a total of 2 DLCs, which will be coming free to Independence Edition owners, by the way. Those being the Skins DLC and the PvE mode, which will also come with a few skins. PvE is probably most likely going to be free for single player, and if you don't play with other people, but the comments don't really care. Now, I'm trying to be unbiased as I can, but it really shows how uneducated the community can be sometimes. Now, onto the stuff that might actually affect Tabor in a pretty significant way, the exfil zone. I know I mentioned this before, but exfil zone is something Tabor can't ignore, and they aren't. This new mode from the creators of Contractors Caveman Studios just came out, and damn does it look good. Obviously there are bugs, but many less than Tabor when it first came out. Obviously this contributes to the fact that Contractors is already a developed game, and this mode is based on that, but it still came out with a bang nonetheless. Now onto the big question, is it better than Tabor? It depends on who you ask. The main arguments against exfil being better than Tabor are the guns feeling way too arcadey and the game running not so good on standalone. The arguments for features that Tabor refuses to add, loads of guns, 3 maps off the bat, and many more, which seem pretty big, but it does feel like a direct replica of Tarkov. Obviously I don't say it's a bad thing, but it really lacks originality in my opinion. Now, will it kill Tabor? In my opinion, it depends on how this wipe turns out. The leaked missions rework is a large step in the right direction for Tabor and could easily save the repetitive cycle of gameplay it seems to have. Along with the AI rework and many other features coming, it could stop Tabor from being a flop like people are saying. In my eyes, exfill Zone is more dedicated to those who are really searching for that Tarkov in VR experience. Tabor is for those who are looking for a unique experience, but still like the thrill of an extracting shooter, and I hope both can exist with each other instead of against. As for my final statement, I really think that the people that are commenting on YouTube and stuff just should really look into, business practices. Like, people are complaining about DLCs being paid, like, they need money somehow, it's kind of funny to me, but, leave your opinions in the comments, and don't forget to trust no one.